Morning, Riverbend. For those of you that are here, for those of you that are abroad, we're glad you're tuning in. God, we ask that you make this time for us some time we can connect with you, a time that we can give you the things that are out of our control. Ask that you remind us of who you are. Remind me who you are. You know what each one of us this morning is going through. You know what each struggle we have. And I ask that you meet each one of us where we're at this morning.
You're never gonna let me down.
come when I can't feel it. You come when I am empty. And won't you fill me up, my rising sun, my rising sun. Come when I get angry. Will you come when I am hiding from everyone, my rising sun? Will you come if I don't know you? Will you come when I can't feel? You come when I am empty. You fill me up, my rising sun, my rising sun. Psalm 139. You've searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out, my laying down, and you're familiar with all my ways. Before words even on my tongue, you know it completely. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand on me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It's just too lofty to obtain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you're there. If I make my bed in the depths, you're there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. And maybe I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light will become night around me, but even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like day, for darkness is as light to you. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. And I praise you because I'm fearfully and I'm wonderfully made. Your work is wonderful. Know that full well. My frame wasn't hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them even came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts. How vast as the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. And when I awake, I'm still with you. Wherever you are this morning, I want you to take a moment to just breathe. I want you to attempt a difficult practice of just surrendering. Surrendering the outcome. Surrendering your outcome. Surrendering the world's outcome. Surrendering your spouse or your children's outcome. Let him hear you say that, Lord, I surrender this to you. And if you don't feel like surrendering it, say, God, I want to surrender it to you. I want to trust you, and I don't. He appreciates that just as much. I want to surrender. I want to surrender. Atmosphere is changing now. The Spirit of the Lord is here. The evidence is all around. Spirit of the Lord is here. Atmosphere is changing now. Spirit of the Lord is here. Evidence is all around. The end of the Lord is here. Overflow in this place. Fill my heart with your love, surrounds us. You're the reason we came to encounter your love surrounds us. Atmosphere is changing now. The Spirit of you, Lord, is here. Evidence is all around. The Spirit of the Lord is here. Overflow in this place. Fill my heart with your love surrounds us. You're the reason I came to encounter your love surrounds us. Spirit of God, fall fresh on us. We need your presence. Your kingdom come, your will be done here as in heaven. Spirit of God, fall fresh on us. We need your presence. Your kingdom come, your will be done here as in miracle can happen now. Spirit of the Lord is here. Your evidence is all around. Spirit of the Lord is here. Amen. You guys may be seated.
Why don't you give him a hand? That was great, right? Thank you, guys. Amazing. I want you to think for a moment back to your favorite present that you got, whether it's Christmas or birthday or whatever that is. I want you to just kind of sit with that for a second and remember that feeling. For me, my favorite present growing up was a drum set. My parents got me a drum set when I was 13 years old, and I came home from dinner, and it was there, and it was a big deal. I felt amazing. I played that thing for as much as I could. It meant a lot to me. For me also, I think about presents and gifts. I think about also as a parent what it means for me as I am able to give gifts to my kids and give gifts to other people and what that also does for me. This year, our Angels of Foot program, we're attempting to give 4,000 gifts out. And that may sound crazy in the middle of COVID, in the middle of all of this stuff, but we're a little bit crazy here, so that's what we're doing. And so if you're interested and want to be a part of it, please go to riverbend.com, Angels of Foot. There's all sorts of ways that you can participate and be a part of that, from buying gifts and it sends it right to people, or for our toy stores, there's all sorts of things. But this year, one of the things with COVID is abuse and different things are up, and more of our foster homes are filled and more things going on than you'd even expect. So we really want to make kids feel valuable at this time of year. So if you join with us and be a part of that, I would love that for you. All of this doesn't happen, though, without Riverbend, without this place. With what it does, Angels of Foot can't happen, and all the other missions things that can't happen. And so I want to thank you for what you do, for supporting, for being generous, for sacrificing, for being a part of this. It means a lot. It does. It's making a difference. And so today, if you're here for your offering, if you want, you can put the offering in these black boxes that are around or mezzanine. If you're online, you can go to riverbend.com/give, and you continue to support the ministry of what Riverbend's doing. Thank you again for what you're doing, and God is using that. Would you pray with me as we take our offering? Lord, we're so thankful for what you do for us, how you care for us, even when we're hurting or when we're angry, all the different things we sing about today. God, thank you for how you care for us in those moments. I pray you continue to be with us as a church, as a family, and draw us together in unity and be close together. I also pray, Lord, that you just take this offering and all the things we're doing and you use it for your glory and you bless it. We pray this in your name. Amen.
Happy Thanksgiving. I know it's 11 days away. It's technically not even Thanksgiving week, but those of you who know me know that Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. And it's not just because of the gluttony, and it's not just because of the time that we spend sort of overindulging and getting into a tryptophan coma. It's not those. The tradition is important to me. My life has been filled with terrific memories of Thanksgiving. For over a decade, we as a family would celebrate Thanksgiving at our church, our little church in Richardson, and we developed a tradition where we would host Thanksgiving dinner for anybody in our church who was away from their families, or for the single moms in our church who really were too stressed out to make a significant Thanksgiving meal, and people who were traveling. And so we would host Thanksgiving dinner at our church for sometimes as many as 30 or 40 people. And we established a tradition with our girls when they were little, is we would camp out at the church overnight on Wednesday night. We would get there Wednesday during the day, and we would start kind of assembling in the community center a living area, and I'd put up like 3 or 4 TVs, and we dragged sofas from all over the church, and we kind of created a giant living area, and then we created the dining room table, and we would start preparing for Thanksgiving. And then Thanksgiving Day, we'd get up and watch the Macy's Day Parade, and then we had this epic kind of brilliant flag football game over at the junior high next to the church, and that became sort of like a community thing. And then we had a great meal. We'd spend basically 2 days celebrating Thanksgivings, and those are some of my favorite memories. And so Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday because I have so many favorable memories of family and friends and the celebration. I also love Thanksgiving because it's so literal. It's so obvious. It's so pedantic. If you don't know what Thanksgiving is about, you're not paying attention to the name. What is Thanksgiving a celebration of? It's a celebration of giving thanks. So it's really hard to mess that up. But I know for some, and perhaps for more than ever before, the Thanksgiving holidays and the holiday season from Thanksgiving through Christmas and New Year's is one of the hardest times of the year. And it's hard because of the empty chairs, because of the people who aren't there, because of the things that we have lost. And given the journey that we have been on together through most of 2020, it's understandable that during the holiday seasons, we're going to feel a little bit raw. We're going to feel a little bit different. And it's going to be harder to focus on counting our blessings and giving thanks. But I would suggest if there is ever a time for us to be selfish, it's right now, because we need a break. We need to be reminded of the good things. We need to take the time to count our blessings and to give thanks, and to just for a moment take a breath and believe it's going to be okay. Things are not as bad as they may seem. If we've ever needed a Thanksgiving holiday, I believe it's this Thanksgiving holiday. A couple weeks ago, we began a conversation heading for this week, and I made a counterintuitive suggestion. And the counterintuitive suggestion is that during this season, during these days, these difficult times, we need to be more selfish. We need to pay more attention to ourselves. We need to take better care of ourselves. And being selfish is a good thing. Last week, I suggested that perhaps the most selfish thing we can do is be generous. The generosity in difficult days is really self-serving. It's self-improving. It is a selfish thing. And today, I want to think about the one thing that makes all of that possible, that makes all of that make sense. The thing that we will celebrate in 11 days. See, it's my prayer today. It's my prayer that the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart would be pleasing in God's sight, and that God would use his word, spoken by his servant and anointed by his Spirit, to encourage us, to lift us up, to remind us of the goodness all around us, to inspire us in our thanks, and that we might not just know the grace of God. My prayer is that we would show it. Last Sunday, Diane and I went to brunch with our family. We met all of our girls who live here in Austin, and we met over at a Mexican restaurant over in East Austin, one of those tragically hip Mexican places, and we ate outside, and it was great to be together and great to catch up because we don't get to see each other as much as I would like, but it was a great time for all of us to be together. And my daughters all had said that they were watching online. They watched the Resonate service online, and I can't tell you what that means to me. You got to have sympathy for preachers' kids. I mean, they grew up listening to this, the blah, 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 that's Dad. And that they still would do that. They would still choose to do that is one of the great joys of my life. And they were all saying, and they were giving me feedback, as they always do. My kids, their entire life, I don't know if your children are like this, but my children have never been shy about telling me what they think. Like from the moment they were born, they were kind of like, put me back in, I don't like you, from the very start. And so I wasn't surprised when they were giving me feedback. And then one of my daughters said to me, hey, Dad, I could tell today you were really uncomfortable because you don't like asking people for money, do you? And it caught me back for a minute because I really don't. I have this thing, and it's not because I don't believe in what we're doing, and I don't believe that generosity is important. It's because I don't want to be stereotyped like one of those preachers that always has his hand out. I don't want us to be a community that's always saying, well, we need a little bit more from you, need a little bit more from you. And I'm so concerned about that I try to be real delicate. I try to be real careful when I ask us to be generous, when we think about those things. Now, I don't know. I don't know if the Apostle Paul felt that way. I don't think he did. I mean, I don't think the Apostle Paul had a shy bone in his body. I don't think he ever apologized for asking people to support the cause of the gospel. In fact, we've been looking at a part of a letter that he wrote to us. Now, I know he didn't write it to us at Riverbend. He wrote it to a church in Corinth. But the Corinthian church was so much like Riverbend, I call the two letters in our Bible, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, I call them 1st and 2nd Riverbendians. And in the second letter, in the 8th and the 9th chapters, the Apostle Paul is telling us, he's telling the Riverbendians and the Corinthians, he's telling us to be generous. And he's talking about how that is one of the most selfish things that we can do. And he's unapologetic about it. And when we come to the end of his request that takes up 2 chapters in 2 Corinthians, chapter 8 and chapter 9, this is the last thing he says. He says, this service that you perform is not only supplying the needs of the Lord's people, but also is overflowing in many expressions of thanks to God. Because of the service by which you have proved yourselves, others will praise God for the obedience that accompanies your confession of the gospel of Christ, and for your generosity in sharing with them and with everyone else. And in their prayers for you, their hearts will go out to you because of the surpassing grace God has given you. Thanks be to God for his indescribable gift. It's that last line, the last line of this conversation about generosity and giving. 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 15. Thanks be to God for his incredible or indescribable gift. In Paul's language, in the language that he wrote to the Corinthians, the Koine Greek language, it says, kairos totheo, epite anekdiegeto, auto doria. It's the first phrase. He says, kairos totheo. Thanks be to God. Now, what's unusual about that is that the word that he uses there, charis, which is correctly translated thanks, is not the normal Greek word for saying thanks. The normal Greek word for thanks or for thanksgiving is the word Eucharistia. Eucharistia and the verb form to give thanks, Eucharisteo, mean to be thankful to someone for something. It is transliterated into the liturgical language of the church, and perhaps you've heard it as the Eucharist. The Eucharist is the technical term for communion. It literally is the Greek word for the giving of thanks. And the word that should be there in 2 Corinthians 9:15 should be Eucharistia, thanks be to God. But the word he uses is charis. And it's translated thanks, but most of the time, virtually 90% of the time, the word charis is translated as grace. You see, there's a difference between Eucharistia and grace. Eucharistia is a thanks that we give to someone for something. Charis is a gratitude just for someone being. It is an expression of unmerited, undeserved, unearned gratitude or favor. And the Apostle Paul has charis as the centerpiece of his theology. You see, the Apostle Paul is building a new operating system for the whole world. From the beginning of time, since the beginning of creation, the operating system that you and I operate under, that the whole universe operates under, is the law of cause and effect. It's for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. The laws of gravity, the laws of science, the laws of relationships are basically guided by the idea that I will do something for some purpose, for some reason. And that if I do good things will happen. If I do bad things will happen. The universe is governed by a law of cause and effect. That is the old operating system. It is the way that we all operate. The Apostle Paul is saying, no. In the coming of Jesus of Nazareth, God introduced into the universe a new operating system. And it's not the operating system that says, if you do good things, God will love you. And if you do bad things, God will punish you. It's the operating system of charis. It's the operating system of grace. And it says God will love you just because of who you are. And not because of what you do. You cannot earn God's love, and you cannot lose it. It is a gift. It is a gift of grace. And it's a bilateral relationship. It's a bilateral gratitude. We are thankful to God, not just for what God does, but for who God is. And God, think about this, is thankful for us. Have you ever thought about that? That God is grateful for you? That God is grateful for us? That the whole universe, the whole existence of humanity only works itself out through us. God has entrusted us to manifest the character and the nature of God to each other. And God is thankful for us, not for what we do, simply that we are. He says, thanks be to God. The grace of God is what is at the center of who we are. I know you're probably at home right now and you got your kids crawling on your lap and you're trying to fight them off and you're paying attention and you're like, Dave, slow down, Dave. It's too early. I've only had 1 cup of coffee. I didn't come here for a lesson in the Greek language and theology. Just slow down with this whole charis thing. But maybe you don't realize grace, charis, that's our word. That's our word. That's our Riverbend word. It is a Riverbend word, not because we own it, not because we have the copyright on it, because that's how we identify ourselves. We are a grace church. We are a church that champions and embraces and celebrates the charis, the grace of God. Now, there's a problem with that. And the problem with that is grace is a verbal placeholder. Grace means something different to you than it means to me or it means to someone else. Because grace is this ambiguous idea of favor, of unconditional love, of unmerited forgiveness. And so we apply it in all kinds of different ways. And grace is a problem for us because we don't really know what it means. What does it mean when we say Riverbend is a grace church? I'll tell you what it means. It means that we are entangled by gratitude and generosity, because that's what grace looks like. Grace looks like a relationship, a bilateral relationship of gratitude and generosity. Because of God's grace, we are thankful. And because we are thankful, we are generous. And because we are generous, it reflects and shows people what the grace of God is. And Paul says, all of the things that I have taught you about what it means to be selfish, this is what it means. It means the grace of God. But it's that next phrase where it says, epite anekdiogeto autodoria. The last phrase, autodoria, from him, a gift from him. Now the case there of the nouns can mean it is a gift of him, or it is the gift from him. It's like it's saying the indescribable gift we have been given is God himself. That God is this gift, and the grace that is poured out on us is the gift that is from him, or it is of him. It is by him. It is for him. It is him. And it is indescribable. It is inconceivable. And the word that is so profound there is that word. It's anekdiegeto. Anekdiegeto is a Greek word that Paul made up. It doesn't appear anywhere else in the Bible. Anekdiegeto is a mashup. It's two words. The prefix is anek. And anek in the Greek language, it means the same thing as I am or I-N or U-N means in our language. If you have something that's believable and you put anek in front of it, it's unbelievable. Something that's credible, you put anek in front of it, and it's incredible. It's inconceivable. It's speakable. With anek, it is unspeakable. It is unfathomable. It is unreachable. It is incomprehensible. That's anek. And the word diegeto is a word that means to tell a story. It is an unnarrative. It is an untellable story. It's like, think of all of the analogies and all of the metaphors and all of the illustrations and all of the fables and all of the myths and all of the words that you could use to describe something. And the grace of God's very person, the gratitude that we have, is beyond any words that we could even express. It is anekdiegeto. You ever see the Northern Lights? Have any of you ever seen the Northern Lights? Like in person, not in a photograph or on video, but for real. I've seen them once. It was about 15, 20 years ago. It was over 15. It was about 20, 25 years ago now. I was teaching on a college student retreat up in northern Minnesota at the end of February. What a dumb idea. I mean, this is almost in Canada at the end of February. And there were a couple hundred students there, and it was great, and it was cold. And one night, one of the leaders came and he knocked on my door and he said, "Dave, you've got to see this." And I said, okay. And so we went outside, and I walked outside, and there in the clear night sky was something I can't even explain. It was a light show that was more spectacular than any fireworks display that you could ever imagine. It was ribbons of color that just hung in the night sky, and they moved and they shifted and they changed colors, and they just kept changing, and they just kept morphing, and it went on and on and on, and it was just there. It was just out there in the sky. I stood out there for almost 2 hours at 10 degrees below zero. because it was so mesmerizing. It was so breathtaking. It was so beautiful. It was so random. It was just there. It was like beauty just wasted on polar bears and penguins. It was just laid out for whoever would enjoy it, spread across the sky, without concern, without reason, without purpose. Just random, excessive, magnificent beauty. How many sunsets do you think take place every day around our planet, where the azure sky over an ocean begins to turn from blue to orange to yellow, and the streaks of light reflect off of the clouds, and they paint a picture more beautiful than any classic or any artist could ever express. And it happens day after day, and it happens all across the globe. And most of them, no one ever sees. How many fields and mountain valleys and in faraway places grow up with flowers carpeting the valley? And these flowers of intricate beauty that are woven out of the organic fabric of the chlorophyll exploding and reaching up toward the sun, and the valleys are carpeted with this mosaic of color and tapestry of living organisms, and they grow and they bloom and they fade and they die, and no one ever sees them. No one ever lays an eye on them. They go to waste. The beauty is just randomly, excessively, magnificently wasted because there's so much of it that it's just poured out and overflowing, and it's all around us. Let me ask you this. How much of your life is a choice? Really? How much of our life do we really choose? We don't choose when to be born. Nobody asked us, would you like to be born in the second half of the 20th century? Would you like to wait until the beginning of the 21st century? I would have waited till after 2020 if I got a vote. I mean, I didn't get a choice of where I was born. I didn't get a choice of who my parents were. I didn't get a choice of my skin color, my hair color, my eye color. You think I chose this hairline? Are you serious? No, nobody chooses this. I didn't choose to be left-handed. I really didn't. You may think, well, you could have. No. I was a born lefty. I was a born outcast. I was a born rebel, is what it is. I mean, because when you're left-handed, you're one of the few. You're the outcast, you're the outsider, you're the southpaw. Yeah, you're the wrong-handed one. You're the one that has to sit in those classrooms and scroll on the desk that was made for everybody else. You go into the sporting goods store and you want to buy a baseball mitt, and there's 1,000 mitts for right-handed people, and there's 2 for lefties. And they're both first baseman mitts. Don't even think about trying to be a catcher if you're left-handed, because I believe there's a little old woman in Guatemala that only hand makes 2 left-handed catcher's mitts a year, because there's no such thing as a left-handed catcher. I didn't choose that. I didn't choose. How much of your life do we actually choose? In the measure of the journey through our existence, we choose very little. Except for one thing. We choose how we will go through it. The choice is ours. You see, we have a choice to go through life on an old operating system. An operating system of quid pro quo, an operating system of cause and effect. We have the choice to choose to go through life with an operating system that suggests to us, if you do good things will happen. And if you do bad things will happen. And if you do things well, people will think well of you. But if you do things poorly, people will think poorly of you. And we know to the best of our ability, that works some of the time. And we can choose to live by that operating system, or we can choose not to have an operating system that is based on ourselves, which produces in us self-absorption and self-pity and self-loathing. But we can choose an operating system of grace, of charis, an operating system that says, I will look at my life as a gift, that every day I have, that every hour, that every minute, that every moment, that every breath is a gift. It is a wonderful, magnificent, overflowing gift of God, that it is onic diegeto, that it is an indescribable, incomprehensible gift of God. And I will make the most of it because I am grateful for the grace. And I will express that generously and point back to that grace. And that is when we are truly ourselves. I'm convinced that from the time human beings were sentient, Homo sapiens were walking around the earth, and they gazed up into the sky and they saw the northern lights and they went, ooh, and in that evaluation, the first people began to ask, why am I here? What does all this mean? Do I matter? Am I significant? Do I have a place in the universe? From the time Homo sapiens have been struggling with what is my significance? What is my place? Do I make a difference in the randomness and the beauty of the universe? Do I actually have any value? And down through the centuries, throughout human history, every religious construct has sought to create an answer to that question. Whether it is the animists who worship the trees and the stars and the sun, or whether it's the scientists who worship empiricism and the scientific method, whether it is the Muslims or the Mormons or the Methodists, it doesn't matter. We have sought to define our place and our significance in the universe. And 2,000 years ago, Jesus invaded the earth and he said, I'm going to tell you your significance. You are priceless and you are worthless. You are worth dying for. And your worth is beyond measure. And I am proof of that. And you are priceless because of God's grace. And through the story of the gospel and the teachings of the apostles, they constructed a new operating system. It is the operating system of charis. It is the operating system of grace. It is the operating system that sees as onic diegeto, the universe that we live in, and takes nothing for granted, and sees the magnificent, excessive, random waste of beauty as a pouring out of the grace of God in every day and every hour and every minute and every breath we have is a gift. And this is what it means to be selfish. This is what it means to see ourselves entangled in the triangle of grace and gratitude and generosity. This is our true self. This is who we are intended to be. Celebrating and thanking and expressing generously the gift of God. You know, my daughter was right. She's totally right. She knows me, and my kids know me. My wife knows me. And she was right when she said, Dad, it's hard for you to ask people to give money, isn't it? And I had to say, yeah, you're right, sweetheart, it is. It's hard for me to do because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to walk around with my hand out, and it's something that I'm very careful to do. But it's not that I'm apologetic about it, because I believe in what we're doing here. I really do. And I believe that right now, in the world that we live in the day that we live in, that this place is more necessary than it's ever been. As we experience 9 months of isolation, and hopefully what the cry of our hearts is beginning to build is this idea that we weren't meant to do life alone. And there will be a day, and it's not far off, there will be a day when people will say, I've got to reconnect. I've got to reestablish. I've got to be in a community where they affirm my value, where they collectively can say that what we're doing matters. And this is that place. And I don't apologize to say we got to keep the lights on. And I really don't have a problem with that. And I don't have a problem saying thank you. Saying thank you to those of you who have contributed financially so that we can stay and continue to do. And for the hundreds and hundreds of you who have contributed thousands and thousands of hours to serve the needs in our community when we could step out and we could provide food and we could provide encouragement and hope to people who are really running out of all of those things. And so I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the people who have supported us financially, who literally have never been on this campus, who in the last few months have discovered us online because of the isolation they're feeling, or because their small church was no longer functioning, and they found us and they said, I want to be a part of what you're doing, and I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you who are here, who are saying, I'm going to safely and carefully come just to be in a room together, because in the room together, seeing one another is a reminder that we don't have to do this alone. And so you being here means something to someone else who needed to see you here. I needed to see you here. And so I'm thankful for that. I'm grateful for these things. And I'm looking forward in 11 days to celebrating my favorite holiday, the day when we are reminded to count our blessings, when we are reminded to give thanks. But maybe we shouldn't need a reminder once a year. Maybe the reality is that we should be thankful all day, every day. Not just once a year, not just once in a while, but all of the time. Being grateful for the grace of God, and giving and living and showing thanks. Happy Thanksgiving.
You stood before creation, eternity in your hand. You spoke the earth into motion, my soul now to stand. You stood before my failures, and carried the cross for my shame. My sin weighed upon your shoulders, my soul now to stand. So what can I say? What can I do but offer this heart time, heart abandoned in awe of the one who gave it all. I'll stand, my soul, Lord, to you surrender all. I am is yours. I'll stand, on time, heart abandoned in awe of the one who gave it all. I'll stand, my soul, Lord, to you surrender all. I am is yours. I'll stand, on time, heart abandoned in awe of the one who gave it all. I'll stand, my soul, Lord, to you surrender all. I am is
Amen. You guys go in peace, go with God. May you see him in your day, in your week, in your car, in the things that feel good and the things that feel bad. We'll see y'all next time.
What can I say? What can I do? But offer this heart, oh God, completely. So what can I say? What can I do? But offer this heart, God, completely.
Spirit of the Lord is here. His evidence is all around. The Spirit of the Lord is here. Miracle can happen now, for the Spirit of the Lord is here, and your evidence is all